Hello, everyone in Women's Studies. For my final, I decided to take a little inspiration from Parable of the Sowyer and the short story we read on the Spanish woman and her survival kit. And I have a couple of my dogs here with me today, out here in the mountains. So if you see them running through, that's them. So I took a little inspiration. I decided to pull out my own survival kit and my bug out bag that I had packed and kind of walk you guys through it and what's inside of it. I believe that, having yourself ready and being prepared in those kind of post-apocalyptic stories and in Parable of the Sowyer, one of the reasons she was able to survive is because she had a bag ready to go. And when their society got taken over, the wall got knocked down and decided to burn, the thing that allowed her to get out quick was she knew what she had in her bag, and her bag was ready. And she was able to grab it, head out the door, and be able to survive, which I think is important for all of us to know. A little background on me. I was in the military for 7 years, and 4 of it, I was a wilderness survival instructor. I taught flight crew and anyone who headed overseas how to survive in an emergency situation, such as a pilot who gets shot down, parachutes into enemy territory, how he's going to survive, evade, resist, and escape. But that being said, you don't have to be a wilderness survival instructor. You don't have to be someone like Bear Grylls or Les Stroud to be able to survive and be efficient. There was a story about this woman who got lost in the Grand Canyon. She was lost for 6 days, and during that time, she ended up getting rescued and surviving. And the woman had no survival experience. The only thing she did take was a short 3-day wilderness survival course with her and her husband a while back, and that allowed her the skills to survive. Because at the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, all of us are ingrained with these skills that are natural instincts on how to survive. Our lizard brain, as you can say, kicks in, and we're able to think of these things on the fly and survive. But just a little bit of knowledge can go a long way. A little bit of knowledge and a little bit of preparation can be the difference between surviving and thriving, and surviving and just barely living. So I think it's important to all have just a little base knowledge of certain things that can really help us in the long run. So I'm going to show you guys my bug out bag, as I call it, or survival bag that I have always packed in my home. Along with this kit, I do have a weapon. As in Parable of a Sowyer, the key to them surviving was a gun. But this is for a school project, so that I'm going to just kind of leave out. All right, so here is all the contents to my survival bag. I think it's important to have a relatively smaller bag so you don't overpack and weigh yourself down too much. The whole point to this bag is to be on the go and be able to be quick and maneuverable and not be bogged down. So don't have too big of a backpack and pack too much stuff. Just the essentials. Here's some 550 cord for building shelters, building traps, things like that if you need to catch animals. It's used for a lot of different things, and I think having a little bit of rope, at least not this much. This is because I was going to show you guys a little bit of shelter building. I am a little sick right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that, but I think having some cord is essential. Here is some a little fishing kit, some fishing line and some hooks. Being able to catch a fish if you have the opportunity is really vital. Can really help you out in the long run. Fish have a lot of nutrients, and the hooks can be used on smaller animals too, so that's good. Here I have a Leatherman and a fixed blade knife. I think these two are great. You want a fixed blade knife for starting fires, for using it for self-protection, using things that the blade will not fold on you and it's always ready to go. A multi-tool is essential for your smaller tasks: pliers, knives, toothpick. I mean, it has a multitude of things, obviously by its name. So I think it's really important to have a mixture of both of these. You don't want to use this for fire starting, because I've seen people have the blade out and they'll hit it and the blade will fold and cut their finger or something like that. So you really want a fixed blade knife that won't fold on you. Last thing you want out in the woods is an injury, because that's the last thing you need. With that, I have my emergency kit. I have my first aid kit, a lot of band-aids, a lot of ointment, things like that. Just the essentials in here, not too crazy of a kit. And with that, I have hand sanitizer, some teeth wipes, some sunscreen, body wipes, deodorant, things like that. When you're out there, you really want to feel a little bit like a human. You don't want to feel too dirty and nasty, because your morale just drops. So being able to, you know, clean your teeth, clean your body, feel a little bit clean, I think is essential. Like in that book, the Spanish survival kit that we read about, she had lipstick and fingernail polish in there, and that's not essential for surviving at all, but it makes her feel a little bit better. And having a moral boost goes a long way. Like Les Stroud, who carries a harmonica, and whenever he's feeling down, he plays a harmonica and he feels a little bit better. For fire starting, I have a flint. Those are good for, you know, if you have this kind of fuel here, just cooking fuel. What I do is I take this out and I rub it on a log, and I start it with that, and it goes really easy. Obviously you have a lighter, and I also have waterproof matches, because you can't always rely on a lighter. Candles, these last 9 hours each, so just having consistent fire or something to light to give you light if you aren't able to start a fire or don't want to have a fire. These are great for just having a little bit of light. Duct tape and water purification tablets. This is a little signal mirror that I use to, if there's a plane or something and there's sun out, I can signal to somebody really far away. I can't scream or yell to them. I can signal them. It's important. Here's a little bag. Compass. I have a radio that can be wound up. I think that's good to have, even just to listen to the radio, or in the situation that something really bad happens, you can listen to the news and see what's going on. These are iodine tablets, which are great. I use them in the military. The reason I like them is because you can take 2, maybe 3 if the water is really dirty, and drop it into a container, and all you have to do is sit and wait. There's no mixing. There's nothing like that. You just put it in there and wait, and it's really good to have. I have 2 bottles of those. So that is the contents of the kit. I think this is a good little bug out bag if you need to really get out of the house, have the essentials, be able to survive. Yeah, let me know, guys. What would you put in the kit? What would you take out? I'm interested to know what kind of kit you would build. So I thought I would also do a quick shelter building tutorial, and I used 2 trees that are spaced pretty close together. Normally, in a survival situation, you wouldn't worry about taking down trees that are in better condition, and you could have a larger shelter. But since this isn't a survival situation, I don't want to take down any live trees or disturb the environment very much. So I'm going to take dead trees that I find on the ground. So the shelter is going to be a little rudimentary. Normally, if in an evasion situation, you actually don't want to disturb the environment, because you don't want to leave any indication that you were in the area. So chopping down trees, breaking branches, things like that, you don't want to have an extravagant shelter. So this shelter, I guess, would be in the middle of both of them. I'm not going to be really disturbing the environment very much, and I'm also going to be building something very basic. And the 2 knots that I use the most for this are a bowline and a slip loop. I use those all the time. I use a bowline at least once a day in my life. So those are just great knots to know in any situation, really. So I'm going to get to building. I'm going to build a lean-to, something really simple, something quick, just to get out of the rain. You know, and the more time you have, the better you can make it. I'll post a photo of the one I made in Wilderness Survival School that I had a full week in the woods to work on day by day. And by the end, even though I was out in the woods sleeping, it was pretty cozy. I was pretty comfortable in there. So yeah, I'll just get to making it. All right, so I have my top log secured. I have my side secured down on both sides, and I have the bottom secured. The dog likes it. You like it in there, Fran? Huh? You like it in there? It's comfy, huh? Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed my little shelter building video. In Parable of Sowyer, everyone in that community has to bring something to the table. Some people do lessons on sewing. Some people do lessons on survival, what plants to use to eat and survive. I believe if I was in that community, I would want to teach people, you know, maybe how to build a bug out bag and how to build rudimentary shelters. Seems like Fran is enjoying the shelter with me right now. Nice quick shelter, just if we were on the run or on the go, we could throw it up in an hour. If there were 2 people or a team, we could make something a lot better together. And I believe it's all just about having little tips, little tricks, and if you ever need it, it's one of those skills where it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I'd rather have something like this in my tool bag if I really need to get out and build something. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, what you thought about the shelter, what tips you took away from it, or what shelters you have built in the woods, or if you would build any, what would you build? Hello, Fran. Yep, that's you. Anyway, take care.